Hello, friends. This is Chandrakant from Akulmach Technologies, and welcome to this edition of Akulmach Multiverse. And in today's edition, we would like to discuss more about the ISRO plans for next 5 years. And friends, as you know, that ISRO is already planning very ambitious projects. They are planning a trip to Venus. Then they are going to revisit the Moon mission, which is number three, and they are also planning a Mars mission. But above all, they are going to send men to the space. So this uh, project is called Gaganyaan, and as you know, Gaganyaan actually means sky vehicle, and this basically is going to be an orbiter where three astronauts will from India, totally Indian trained astronauts and Indian region will travel on their spacecraft to space and orbit for about a week. So ISRO is already building aircraft, and they are actually preparing the whole thing in such a way that the three astronauts can do various activities while in space, and probably they will also try and dock the Indian space aircraft with the International Space Station as per the design. As you can see the design which is floating around in the net and shared by ISRO, it looks like it has a docking station as well. So the big question is, well, ISRO will plan a spacewalk mission also. So we will analyze this in today's discussion. So in order to have a successful space walk from the spacecraft, that means the astronauts will have to go out of the spaceship and then perform certain scientific experiments. There are two important things which are required. One is the spacesuit, and number two is the airlock. So we will discuss one by one. Uh, the spacesuit which is required for the space for the walk outside the spacecraft is it's a very specialized equipment, and it is similar to almost like another small spacecraft. Why? Because when the human being is stepping out of the closed, confined, or a protected environment from the spacecraft, outside the spacecraft, the human being is subjected to a lot of harsh space weather. So when I say space weather, it is like the the surface which is facing the sun may heat up to plus 400 degrees centigrade, and which is in the shadow, which is like our back, will freeze to minus 160 and or probably one minus 180 degrees centigrade. So you see, these are the very peculiar space weather, and in order to protect the human being in the space weather, you need to protect the space suit itself. So that is one aspect of protecting the humans in space. Number two is there is a absolutely zero pressure in space. So, and you need air to breathe and also to create pressure. So this whole suit will be pressurized. And number three is it has to be operational in the zero gravity environment, because outside the spacecraft there will be zero gravity. Inside also there is zero gravity, but outside primarily the movement of the astronaut should also happen. It shouldn't happen that his movements are restricted. So if his movements are restricted, then the astronaut will not be able to perform any scientific experiment. So considering these three major requirements, the spacesuit which is required for spacewalk are very very specialized and requires years of research and many trials for that environment. And both Russia and Americans have done this, and even Chinese have done this. And now the India has two options. One is that they can buy the spacesuit, or two, they can do a lot of research and develop their own. So why not? I mean, India has all the capabilities to develop their own, but it takes time. And what are the dates for sending the Gaganyaan to space? There is first mission planned unmanned in December 2021, and there will be one more mission unmanned subsequently, and the date which looks like as per ISRO is sometime in 2022, where the three astronauts will fly and then uh, go to lower earth orbit and probably dock with the international space station. We don't know, we are not confirming it, we are just saying that because as per the design of the spacecraft, it looks like it has a docking station. So since they are planning and providing a docking station, I'm assuming they will try and dock the Indian spacecraft with the International Space Station. However, spacewalk does not look viable from my point of view, simply because we do not have the spacesuit which is specifically required for spacewalk. That means it should be like a mini spacecraft itself. And you know, the spacecraft has such protective walls, and it protects the astronauts from space radiation as well as solar wind and also other elements which are prevalent in the outer space. So the spacecraft, the small spacecraft, which is the space suit for venturing out in the space, requires years or years of R&D, material science, research and development, and also the scientific research in terms of how they will protect the human when he or she steps out of the spacecraft from the solar radiation, and also adequately have a movement so that they can work outside and carry out certain experiments. So this is problem number one. That means we require a space suit capable of doing spacewalk, which we do not have. Number two requirement is the airlock. Now, why airlock is so important? It is because when you actually open the spacecraft in order to step out of the spacecraft, the entire spacecraft will get depressurized. So when I say depressurized, it actually means that there will be no atmosphere left in the spacecraft, and that will not be very livable after that if you open the door of the spacecraft. So that is why there is a very specialized equipment, and this equipment is quite strong and quite specialized, and that is the airlock. And airlock usually has two sections, two doors, basically very strong doors. One is inside the spacecraft, the other one opens out in the space, and in between in the area is called preparatory chamber, where the pressure is equalized with the spacecraft pressure, and then the inner door is opened. The space man will astronaut will then step into that inner segment, close the door behind him, and then before opening the outer door, the the section of the space, the airlock is depressurized. That means all the air is taken out from there, so that when you open the door, there is no sudden depressurization, so that no damage is done to the spacecraft. The space locks are very, very powerful, very strong walls, devices, which from the design which are published so far by ISRO, it doesn't look that they are actually giving a airlock into the system. They are probably giving a docking station to dock with something, but they are not adding the airlock in their spacecraft, because the design will then completely undergo a major change, and then it will also become very heavy. So I'm assuming that from the information available right now, the Gaganyaan will not perform any spacewalk maneuvers, primarily because of these two reasons. There is no spacesuit, and right now, and this airlock. So because of the absence of these two equipment, we may not experience the spacewalk being done by Indian astronaut. But who knows? These are not something which are so difficult. If there enough time is given to ISRO, they will develop their own airlock systems, and also the spacesuit required for venturing outside in the open space. So probably after the first Gaganyaan, we will probably see more scientific exploration of space by the Indian astronaut. And by the way, ISRO also is planning their own space station uh, in next 10 years. So I think the whole preparation will start by sending the Gaganyaan in 2022, and after that we will see lots of development by ISRO in leaps and bounds. So friends, write to me and engage with me in terms of what you feel about this information which I provided, and I will then interact with you. Or probably based on your answer, I will get you live in my next show so that we can discuss together on this. Until then, I will say goodbye for today.